The name and note breakdown in this fragrance is what made it interesting to pick up from Max Aroma. This is another one from the brand of Frapin that's called Speakeasy. And if you're anywhere in any metropolitan area, you know that speakeasies have this underground mysterious allure, right? Like the back of the bar, you gotta pick up a phone, the door slides open. It has that 00 kind of vibe. And when you get back there, it's kind of like the who's who, if you know type of vibe. There's a few dope speakeasies in New York City. So this definitely intrigued me. The note breakdown had a couple of boozy elements in it, and if you're gonna talk speakeasy, it better be some booze. So let's roll my fucking music so we can check out if Frapin did really good booze in this speakeasy.
We're all alone, yeah, but some friends from the south side, in case you cared, out of all your friends, I wanna be
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. It's your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. I have a bunch of Frapin fragrances that were sent over to me by the brand, and one of the things that's very consistent about that brand is that boozy element. Frapin is a booze brand, so you better do some booze, some whisk, some cognacs. You better do it right, and honestly, they do an amazing booze. I mean, anybody else outside of Frapin that does a really good booze would be Hennessy, and obviously, they're in the liquor business as well. So these liquor brands are probably catching on like, yo, these notes or these aged barrels where all this shit has just been wafting and wafting around in these wooden vessels or glass incubators or whatever formulas that they use. There's a beautiful aroma. There's this floral, boozy, malty, yeasty woodiness that may be coming off that can play off beautifully in perfumery. That's possibly what Frapin did. And again, we're gonna be checking out Speakeasy. Here's the presentation. It's a slider. It's probably tight as shit. Here we go. Boom. Here's the box. They got some pricey ass booze. I think I saw a cognac of theirs that was going for a couple of $1,000, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, it was like their luxury line or whatever, but they're definitely not inexpensive at all. I actually haven't tried any of their alcohols that I can think of, unless I was blacked out drunk, waking up ass naked in a group full of people, wondering what happened. Doesn't mean I don't want to, though. I mean, try the booze, not the other one. So here is Speakeasy. So one of the things I want to do prior to smelling the fragrance is actually look up the notes again and let you guys know what it is before I start to smell this joint. Such a clean presentation, beautiful wood finishing. They have their crest in the back, so it's definitely a vibe. But let's check out some notes. All right, so the notes are listed up top as rum, lime, and sweet orange, followed by mint mojito, geranium, tobacco, leather, tonka bean, labdanum, styrax, amber, and white musk. Very good note breakdown, and I'm very enthusiastic about the boozes in here. And when you add rum, mojito, everything is just like a marriage made in heaven. So based on the cocktail color juice up in here, I thought it would be something a little bit darker and richer, but we shall see, because mojito is just vibrancy and minty. So I don't know what way they're going, so we're gonna find out right about now. Out of all things I'm getting is kind of that styrax and tonka up top, followed by the booze shortly after. But I thought it was gonna be more booze prominent right at the opening, but no, it's styrax, amber, leather. The mint is kind of just very subtle here. For a mojito and mint combination, I would expect it to be a little bit more prominent. The rum feels like it's really intertwining along with the tobacco, giving it unusual leathery cola-ish vibe. That's just the best way to explain it. It's like Coca-Cola meets leather. There is a lot of changes going on in this fragrance off the texture, but it does feel a little bit messy. Yeah, this is something I'm gonna have to try on skin. On paper, it's a little bit disheveled. The notes kind of have it look a little bit all over the place too, so it might be matching the same energy as the notes, but let's see what it does on skin. Very interesting. It's leather forward on the skin, followed by mint and then tobacco. It's weird. I don't know if I like how it's deconstructing off of the skin. It's not off-putting, but it just feels a little bit confusing off the skin. Very unusual. The leather comes up and it's a really beautiful leather, but it's followed by a mint and tobacco, and for some reason it has this like old lady just darting a bunch of Newport menthols. It kind of has that cigarette smoking, leather jacket wearing, badass biker boy type shit who just goes to the bar, jumps on his Harley, darts a bunch of fucking Newport menthols, throws on his sweaty ass helmet with his leather jacket, and just books it. Kind of like a bad boy rebel kind of scent profile. But it feels a little bit messy. It feels a little confusing. It's not linear at all, but it kind of just has these awkward waves of it doesn't know what identity it wants to shoot for. Which kind of takes me back to the initial commentary that I said. Based based on like the juice and the notes, I was thinking that is it going to be a dark fragrance or is it going to be a light fragrance? It feels like you're trying to make a light, fresh cocktail with really dark rums. Like you're trying to infuse two things that in theory work together, but meshing them together, you might not get the exact taste that you were looking for. You know, in hindsight, it kind of is speakeasy-ish. It's a mixologist really trying to figure out a new drink right on the spot and giving it to the patrons to see if it works. It's a little bit confusing. It's not off-putting. It just feels all over the place at this moment, not on full dry down. But let me give it a couple of minutes before I give it my final assessment, because you know I don't like to make these videos super long, but I gotta keep it all the way at 1,000. It's a little bit all over the place, but maybe it'll change. Everything seems to have calmed down and evenly distributed in a better way, but it's still a little bit messy and confusing. It feels like it's a very dark rum with a sparkly effervescent mojito kind of vibe that should have never gone together. The leather's coming up, looking like it's trying to make its presence known at the opening and at the base, kind of like it just opened hard, came down, and now it's creeping its way back up to my nose. And I'm getting a lot of that styrax, amber, and musk. The musk really pops up at that full dry down. It's an okay fragrance. It doesn't drive me crazy. I think the brand has other ones that are really like beautiful booze fragrances. This just feels like a cocktail that should not have gone together, or it was made specifically for one person who likes this blend. Unfortunately, this fragrance for me is not a ball sprayer, but the boozy element here, as Frapin tends to do really good booze, is very prevalent and very noticeable. And I tell you guys all the time, listen, sometimes shit just don't hit. I love y'all mother suckers from the heart. Let me know what favorite fragrance do you have from the brand Frapin, and if you tried them out, which I definitely recommend. I think 1270 is one of them that are bangers. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll see y'all snitches next time. You know it is biggest in the game. Smooches.
What's fresh? Who's best? One of them's gonna pass the test.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, Motorola start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you